Welcome aboard the Capitol Limited, the train that travels along one of America's great symbolic routes, from Barack Obama's Chicago to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. 1,230 kilometers that we traveled to understand just what the Obama campaign needs to do to win America again. Chicago, the train's starting point and the then senator's headquarters for the historic 2008 campaign. 4 years on, the tactics largely remain the same. Chicago is now the base for a re-election campaign. Throughout the city, hundreds of volunteers take to the phone lines day in, day out. The race starts here.
I'm a volunteer with the Obama for America campaign.
Calls are put in for every potential voter, but some voters count more than others. They live in the swing states.
And let me give you some dates here.
Battleground states like Ohio or Pennsylvania could decide this election by just a few thousand votes.
We do trips to other states that are more important, like Ohio or Wisconsin or Iowa, the states that are really crucial to the election. If you have any other questions, you can give me a call back. We got one.
These phone calls are crucial, but it's on the ground that you can see whether that magic from 2008 is still alive. From Chicago, the tentacles of a massive political campaign reach everywhere. And the Capitol Limited takes us to the heart of it. A few hours after leaving its base, the train draws into one of those swing states. It's Ohio, in the Midwest. We stop in Cleveland, 400,000 inhabitants, Ohio's second largest city.
You guys fired up?
Ready to go.
Fired up?
Okay,
Yeah. Ready to go?
I forgot my
Here we meet a team of neighborhood
That's all right.
volunteers
That's a
for the
beautiful
Obama
thing.
campaign.
Go get them. Go get them.
Okay.
All right. We got this corner. You go get that.
Among them, Brianna from Texas. She is spending her summer here to help win the Battle of Ohio.
Texas it's a foregone conclusion. We know that it's going to go red. It's going to go for Romney. And this summer, I wanted to make the most impact I could. And Ohio is unique that way. If you win Ohio, you can win the election.
Brianna's boss here in Cleveland is Ken Johnson. He is the one following the guidelines that come from headquarters. Recruit more and more volunteers and register voters.
Go to that website. Register at BarackObama.com. Okay. You'll put some of the
Everyone knows this election will be close. The mantra is, every vote counts.
Doors open up. Okay. Okay. Hands get shaken. Okay. 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 Tarmacs get walked on. It's about door by door, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. And over the course of the past 7-8 weeks, we here in Ward 2 have registered well over 250 individuals who are first-time voters.
The county and the city and stuff.
It's our quest, it's our effort. Up until voter registration deadline arrives, this is what we'll be doing every Saturday here in Ward 2.
We need young folks. She was 33. Okay.
This is a scene repeated throughout the United States. Door to door, the Texan Brianna shows Jonathan how it's done. It's his first day as a 2012 volunteer. An answer is a rare occurrence, but in 2008, it was this method and the campaign's youthful enthusiasm that made the difference.
How are you? We just started organizing in your neighborhood, which means we're trying to find volunteers because that's the only way we're going to win with a good ground game. Would you be ever interested in volunteering with us?
Doing
all kinds of this, talking to your neighbors. You know, the model that we use is that we need neighbors talking to their neighbors. How interested would you say you are in the election? Would you say you're very interested, somewhat interested, not really?
Somewhere between, the middle and the upper.
Okay.
So that's at 75% as opposed to 0.
That's fair. That is.
Yeah.
Local Democratic Party leaders have listed each house, each person's voting history. Brianna is given a list of 50 of them. Those who might swing the wrong way and either vote for rival Mitt Romney or stay away from the polls altogether.
Two little small streets. Are you planning on voting for the president?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your support. Take care. We'll see you at the polls. Oh, you can't?
But all the volunteers in the world can't beat enemy number one. It's an enemy we encountered all along our journey in the Rust Belt, the mining heartland, and in the farmlands. That enemy is unemployment and the impact it might have come voting day. No US president since Franklin Roosevelt has been re-elected with unemployment above 7.4%. Joblessness now hovers at around 8%.
One email, and then we just send that out to all of our
Stephen
members.
Rychek has never been unemployed, but even he is at this job center in Cleveland.
Once we get your resume in there, then we can start applying. And I'll
His
look
job
at
is
it
at risk,
to
he says. This is the first time he has signed up.
It was a pleasure meeting you, though, today.
One of his closest friends runs this job center. Two men with very different points of view on where the US economy is heading. One fears joining one of these queues. The other sees the job offers posted faster than before.
Office support, sales, management, healthcare, which you'll see is the biggest area here for the most part. These are all different healthcare positions that are available in Cleveland currently. So everything up here is current. This gets upgraded by the day.
There are those largely on the president's side who believe the United States is seeing a steady economic recovery. His opponents think Obama has not done enough. These are messages that both parties are trying to hammer home.
What a beautiful thing. It's obviously the main position for all of the candidates. They talk about jobs, jobs, jobs. And we had so much loss of that in this area for so long. We're on a good trend, but it's moving slowly. It's not something that's just hit.
I see the progress that he's talking about, but being somebody that maybe my job is on the chopping block, I want to move forward. I don't want a handout.
It's all a matter of persuasion, maybe, but Republicans are counting on it. In Ohio and elsewhere, it's the unemployment figures that could make for a change in the White House.
It's like there's just a little bit of both.
From Cleveland, the Capital Limited continues its journey toward the East Coast. After Ohio, it crosses the Allegheny Mountains and takes us to Pennsylvania, another key state where the candidates are neck and neck and campaigning to get those swing votes. We get off in Pittsburgh, former center of the steel industry, and today, a stop on Barack Obama's campaign trail. Here, 30% of the population is African American. But before covering the event, we wanted to sit down with the Walton family and their friends. All of them voted for Obama in 2008. All are here for the campaign rally. Their allegiances won't change, but we wanted to find out whether their support is as strong as 4 years ago.
My minor criticism of President Obama is that he did spend a lot of time during this initial 4 years trying to build consensus.
His message of hope and change was wonderful. Realistically, I thought it would be wonderful if he could change everything in 3.5 years. But realistically, I knew that that was probably not going to happen. That's why.
I didn't say that.
In some ways, I'm more hopeful in 2012 because I think this is hopefully the time that he'll be able to get more done.
For Christ's sake, amen.
Amen.
Obama's campaign strategists know that waning support or just a slight lack of enthusiasm means thousands less votes. And so the campaign intensifies. The president regularly leaves the White House for 1 or 2 days to make his case for another 4 years.
So let's take half of that money that we're saving in war and use it to pay down the deficit. Let's take the other half and do some nation building here at home. Let's put some Americans back to work. That's what makes America great. We are innovators and risk takers.
The African American vote should be Obama's again, but it's voter participation in this community that is a worry. The president needs the black vote that was his in 2008.
That's
no
the
matter
man.
what church you worship
That's the man going to get us what we need
no
to
matter
do.
what region of
We
the
just got to help him out now, right? We all got to vote.
And for that to happen, there's the age-old recipe. More handshakes, more friendly smiles, more campaigning. There are still 2 months to go before the election, and on the road to the White House, that means many, many kilometers left to go. During the night, our train crosses into West Virginia and on to Maryland. In the early morning, a discussion with one passenger makes us see in person what the statistics show already. It's the undecided voters who will sway this election, those who can't answer this simple question: who will you vote for?
It's a tough question. I'm undecided right now. And I'll probably vote for Obama, but I don't really want to.
Dale Kittleton works as a welder in power stations. He travels throughout the country, discusses the election, but can't make up his mind.
That's explaining the speech.
At first, well, all his speeches before he was elected, you know, everything sounded really good, you know, but he hasn't really came through. It's hard to pick somebody because of the way they always say. They always talk big, you know, get your hopes up and stuff, and they never come through. I mean, some things they do, but the really important things, they really don't. And then when election comes again, then it's the same thing over. You know, they talk big, but, you know, that's about it.
During our chat with Dale, we arrive at our final destination. It's people like him who will decide the fate of the current president. The White House is just a few steps away from here. Washington, D.C., the end of our journey.